Chapter 2 Planet Serpo, a record of a visit to a planet several dozen light-years away. The full story of Serpo Project and another top-secret project of the Roswell incident. After April 24, 1964, 106 people from both governments and military personnel came to greet them from the planet Serpo. The Eves first apologized for the spaceship crash and thanked them for protecting the survivors. And as a thank you, they gave them an advanced translator to use. This translation machine is excellent because it recognizes voice and displays the spoken language and the translated language at the same time. According to the Eves, it is not a very advanced technology and can be widely used on Earth. After collecting the bodies, the 12 project members and about 40 tons of supplies were loaded onto the spaceship, and the journey to the planet Serpo began. From this point on, the memories are mainly based on the team leader's report. The inside of the spaceship has a 3-layer structure, with the lowest layer containing space to store a large amount of supplies and equipment, the middle layer containing the living area for the Eves and the other members, and the top layer containing the cockpit. The team members were guided to their seats, but they were a bit cramped for humans because they were made to fit the Eves' physiques. Once everyone was seated, the craft began to move slowly and accelerated all at once. At this point, one of the members fainted, but the spaceship safely escaped the waiting zone of Earth. After leaving the waiting zone, a huge mothership appeared and the spaceship was sucked into the mothership. The inside of the mothership was unimaginably large. The ceiling is about 30 meters high, and it takes more than 15 minutes to move from one area to another. And the overall size is so huge that it is impossible to measure. The loading and unloading of luggage began, but since it included vehicles to be used when arriving at Serpo, the team members could not carry it all by themselves. So the Eves helped to transport the luggage using technology similar to a semi-gravity device. The team members were guided to the room where they would live during the voyage to the planet Serpo and were explained the schedule on board. The initial schedule was to take 170 days in Earth time, but it was eventually said to be about 300 days. The Eves said that they could tour the cockpit and the ship's power source if they were interested, so the members decided to be guided inside the ship. In the control room, there were several independent devices that operated the ship and checked the information inside the ship, and the Eves were sitting and working in each one. In the power source room, there was a cube about 20 cm square, which was the power source of the mother ship. The team members thought that this small cube was out of proportion to power the huge mother ship. Apparently, this cube only activates when the ship accelerates or decelerates. And normally it looks like just transparent glass. In response to the members' curiosity, Eve and the others activated the cube once and showed it to them shining. After the tour of the ship, the members returned to their rooms and waited for the arrival at the planet Serpo. However, as the days passed, the team members began to feel changes in their physical condition because the air on Earth is different from the air inside the ship. Changes were gradually occurring inside their bodies. This was expected on Earth, but the actual symptoms were more severe than expected and included headaches and dizziness. Then one morning, a shocking event occurred. One of the members suddenly disappeared. When they visited Eve, he calmly told them in English, "He's dead." The team's doctor was upset, but requested to confirm the body, and Eve and the others led them to an isolated room, where they found the member in a capsule-like container. The doctor asked to open the capsule and confirm it directly, but Eve and the others did not allow it. Although they were only allowed to observe from the outside, there was no sign of breathing, and it seemed that he was indeed dead. This incident caused great upset and anxiety to the remaining team members. As time passed, the remaining members gradually adapted to the environment. On board the ship, they learned about the Eve's missions every day and deepened their interactions with them by teaching them English in return. They also gradually switched their diet from the portable food they brought from Earth to the mysterious and strange lumps that the Eves ingest on a daily basis, helping their bodies get used to it. After about 10 months of sailing, the arrival at the planet Serpo was finally approaching. The Eves instructed the team members to prepare to disembark from the ship, and a final explanation was given amid a mixture of tension and expectation. The waiting on Serpo was the same as on board the ship, but they were told that they could wear space suits if they were worried, and they were strongly advised to wear sunglasses because the light of the stars on Serpo is stronger than on Earth. The team members held their breath inside the ship as it slowly landed. Finally, the door opened, and they walked down the long corridor. Led by the Eves, they stopped in front of the last large door, and the huge door slowly opened, letting in the dazzling light for the first time in 10 months. The most epic adventure in the history of mankind was about to begin. The moment they landed on the planet Serpo, the members were surprised by the heat. It was 41 degrees Celsius, and 2 suns were beating down on their heads. It was difficult to even keep their eyes open without sunglasses, but when they looked around, they saw a barren expanse of land reminiscent of the deserts of Arizona or New Mexico, with not a single plant to be seen. However, Eve and the others said that the air was the same as inside the ship. There was no problem. Following the Eve's guidance, we moved to the center of the city where they live, where many Eves welcomed the Earthlings. Surprisingly, some of them spoke broken English. Among them, one Eve who spoke English the most fluently would support the Earthlings' lives as an interpreter. The members decided to call her Eve 2. Among them, including Eve 2, there were some who were clearly wearing different clothes. They were female Eves. To the team members, the Eves looked almost the same, so it was difficult to tell their gender apart from their clothes. Eve 2 guided the team members to the living space prepared for them, and when they entered the building, the temperature inside was set to around 23 to 25 degrees Celsius to match that of Earthlings, and it felt very cool. The surface of all the Eve's buildings was made of a soft, sponge-like material like silicone, and when you pressed it with your hand, you could feel that there was a hard material inside. The walls, floors, and furniture in the room were all made of this material. Etu suggested, "Let's talk while eating." So all the members borrowed clothes with cooling devices and followed her. They were taken to a large place, probably a restaurant, where many Eves were gathered and told to freely take whatever they wanted to eat. When they went to where the food was placed, there were many fruit-like things lined up there, which were completely different from the mysterious lumps they had eaten on the spaceship. For the first time since leaving Earth, the members were able to see something that they thought looked delicious. They each took something they liked and returned to Etu. First, the members asked what kind of planet Serpo was and about the history of the Eve's civilization. According to Etu's explanation, the planet Serpo is a planet in the Zeta Reticuli star system that can be seen from Earth and orbits 2 stars. It is about 39 light-years away from Earth, with a diameter of about 11,000 km, which is slightly smaller than Earth, and its gravity is about 97 of Earth's. Its orbital period is 865 days, which is equivalent to 1 year on Serpo. And its rotation period means that there is no concept of night on Serpo. At this time, one of the members asked Ava to, "When do you guys sleep?" Surprisingly, we found out that Eves don't sleep at all. They live in cycles of resting for a certain period between activities, and then being active again. The resting period is similar to what humans call sleep. There are also planets nearby that the Eves often use, one of which has no living creatures, but is used for the resource prius.